Hi. Welcome to Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet you can find an uncensored version of me. I'm Rachel Ballinger, and today I'm here with one of my best friends, Emily Bostaff, but on the internet is Brostaff.
Yeah.
Say hi, Emily.
Hi.
Dog of the day, Blaze Boy. He's in between us. It's raining outside, so he is not getting off this couch the rest of the day. Okay. Oh, Jojo just asked me what size shoe I wear. She's making me take a tap private with her. Hold on. I have to respond to this. Emily, you want to tell them what we're doing today?
Today we're going to talk about ghost stuff and conspiracies because those are two of my favorite subjects. And she said, what do you want to talk about today?
So, yeah, this, it's like every other podcast now. Like I'll have like an actual guest, something planned. And then it's me and sometimes you.
Yeah.
And these ones aren't planned. So I let Emily do whatever she wants. And she loves things I haven't put much thought into. My whole life, growing up, I was like, those things don't exist. It's angels and demons. That's it.
Right.
God bless the world. And then as I got older, I was like, oh, I don't know shit about anything.
Right.
And I'm too dumb to figure it out. Also,
I don't
I'm
think it's
scared.
that you're too, I was about to say, you're not too dumb. I think you just don't want to look into it because it is scary.
Yeah, the ghost things are.
Yeah.
But we were talking to someone who was talking about reincarnation.
Oh my God.
And it's something that's like, I can't definitively say one thing or the other. I have a dog hair in my mouth. Because there aren't facts, figures, and logical math behind any of it. So everything to me will always be, yeah, that's a
possibility.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of view everything as an adult now, is like
open to
open.
it.
And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. And it all boils down to just try and keep being a good person.
Yeah, I agree.
And let's see what happens.
Right.
So I don't think I'll ever fully dive in and being like, this is the answer.
Yeah. Because
there is no possible way to know the answer.
Right.
So I'm just going to be like, I listen and I ask questions. I'm like, that's a really good way to think about it.
Yeah. I think I just cling on to the things that I believe are true because it gives me, that's why a lot of people like cling on to religion so hard, is because it gives you a sense of like purpose, peace, and like, I don't know what the word is, like, community maybe, or like understanding.
You want to be a part of something.
Yeah. So like that is something that I've always been jealous of organized religions, because I'm not in an organized religion. I don't believe I ever will be, but that is something that I'm envious, is that they have such like a tight community and like people that they can fall back on.
Well, a lot of it's like fake tight community.
Like,
yeah, they
like
have
petty.
Yeah, it's like petty, judgmental. You're there for the wrong reasons. It's very cliquey. If you talk to people that were actually hard into religion and now have stepped back from it, they'll tell you it's from their experiences. It's very judgy and cliquey.
Huh. Which isn't like that. That's the whole premise of like most religions, is like, don't be judgy and include everyone.
Correct.
Okay, great.
But these are just the experiences that I have seen and heard. I know everyone's experience is different, and I'm not shitting on organized religion. I'm just saying there is a lot of negativity that I have seen from it.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I'm not missing out.
I don't think so. I think the organized religion part of organized came from man.
Yeah.
So you could just create a community with anything.
Right. And therefore cults.
Yes. Is religion a cult? We don't know.
We're not stating our opinions online.
Yeah. So anyway, what do we want to talk about today?
Do we want to talk about what we talked about last night?
It's the reincarnation thing,
or the
God. Like you've been lived past lives.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was the thing.
Oh my God.
I knew reincarnation. My best friend growing up, I grew up in a very Christian household.
Yeah.
And my best friend growing up lived across the street, and she was raised. Well, what I was told as a child is that they're liberal hippies. Blech. Blech. Her mom was a yoga instructor.
Oh my God.
She also worked at the bank. But my friend was the first one who told me, shout out to Hannah, love you. She doesn't listen to this, but if randomly it got to her, freaking love her. She once told me that when she dies, she wants to come back as a butterfly. Oh. I remember standing in my kitchen and looking at her being like, are you crazy? And I was like, what do you mean? And then she was
Right.
like, when I'm reincarnated, I want to come back as a butterfly. And I was like, you're just gibberish.
Right.
This is gibberish. When you die, you go to heaven or hell.
Right.
What are you talking about? And she was like, no, reincarnation. When you die, your soul comes back as something else, another living being.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're dumb. This is how I used to think. And now I'm like, possibly?
Could be.
Cool. If you do, great for you.
Right.
And if you don't, I'm sorry, because I know that was what you wanted.
Right.
So she was the first person to talk to me about this. And since then, I've obviously heard about it a lot, but I haven't really dove into it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happens after we die.
Yeah.
And I just whatever. And so last night we had a friend come over and she was talking about how what is it called when you go into like, it's a type of hypnosis.
Oh,
Regenerative? No.
Past life regression hypnosis.
That's it.
It may be like it's along those lines.
Yeah. And so what this person like puts you under in a sense,
Like in a hypnotic state. Yeah.
yes, but they don't lead you.
No.
Because that's like the main thing is like hypnosis is real.
Yeah.
1,000%. You can be hypnotized. There
Yeah.
are people who can hypnotize you.
Right.
And when you're hypnotized, you're extremely suggestible.
Yes. That's
So-
why I've never done it.
Yes, because they can like tell you to do things and you just start doing it and believing things,
Right.
whatever. But with this one, they just go, okay, they put you under and then they're like, where are you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
What are you seeing?
Yes.
Who's there?
So they just ask you questions
right.
and it's supposed to take you, correct me if I'm wrong. 'Cause
Yeah. Keep going. You got it. Yeah.
Okay. It's supposed to take you to your past lives that you've already lived.
And show you the most important things you learned from those past lives.
Yes.
And how you died so that you can heal from that trauma.
Yes. And you can be and I was like, okay, I want to learn because
Yeah.
that's important to
You
me.
were
to
asking
learn.
good questions.
Yes. And so I was like, okay, so every soul on earth has already lived. Like every person on earth is reincarnated. Then she was like, yes. And I was like, then how do you explain that there are more people now
Right.
than there ever have been? Because then that wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
Mathematically, logic, I'm going to use it.
Yeah. You need more souls to fill more bodies.
Yes. And
Yeah.
she explained that there are more souls in the universe.
Right. In the spiritual world.
In the spiritual universal world.
Right.
It's not, and then that's my myopic short like brain just being like earth only live only earth like that
Oh, right.
blah blah this is
We're
it.
the only ones with souls.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like the spiritual world is not, it's
Right.
not just earth.
right.
You're selfish.
Places don't exist.
Yeah.
Time doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's its own realm.
So there people are living in other areas. The
Yeah.
spirits are living in other places and they choose to come to earth.
Yeah. To
And
experience Earth experiences.
Yes.
Yeah.
And earth apparently, what she says is that earth is the hardest place to live.
Yes. Yeah. She called it the Harvard of the spiritual world. Like when you're like trying to learn your lessons, this is the finale is coming here
Yes.
because we're so difficult.
It's very hard for me to wrap my brain around it, but I'm not saying I'm not going to try because
Yeah.
why would I not try and wrap my brain around this?
Right.
What's-
You don't have to believe it, but like
No.
understanding it is a totally different thing.
Yes. And like, because there's people say like, there's complete things like this proves reincarnation.
Okay.
I'm saying you have stories like this.
Oh,
of
yeah.
like, okay, you can start going if you want. Because I've explained what I know.
Yeah.
Why do you think reincarnation is like for sure a thing?
I don't know if I want to like, I feel like reincarnation is just the only word that I've been gifted with to describe it, but I don't know because like the whole premise of reincarnation comes from Buddhism, right? And in
I don't
Buddhism,
know.
oh, okay. Well, rhetorical question. It comes from
My
Buddhism.
friend across the street told me about it. I don't know where she got it from.
Her Buddhist mom yoga teacher.
Oh, well. All right.
And basically, yeah, they believe with the reincarnation that you live a life and you get to come back and you get to try again, you get to learn new lessons. But the thing I don't totally fall into with the whole like traditional reincarnation is that you're stuck in a karma system. So like if you do bad things in this life, maybe you'll come back as like a cockroach in the next life. And like they basically believe and people, you can have a discussion in the comments if I'm wrong. I did study religion, but perhaps it has been updated or I got the wrong view. But the thing I didn't like about the whole karma cycle is like that is why they blamed poor people for being poor. Or if people got sick or like if people had a hard life, they're like, well, you must have done something horrible in your past life. Instead of like being a little more empathetic. So like that's typically why I don't.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that at all.
So that's why I typically don't like cling to Buddhism or like the word reincarnation, despite what I believe is basically describing reincarnation, just without the karma aspect.
Okay, because I actually don't know if I believe fully in karma. Like, I like to talk about karma.
Yeah.
And, like, I like to think that it's real.
Yeah.
Because that means that bad people are going to have bad things happen and good people are going to have good things happen.
Yeah.
But if you look at the world, there are some really piece of shit human beings that just have the world handed to them on a silver platter.
They live the best life.
And then there's some amazing human beings that just keep getting dealt the shittiest hand upon the shittiest hand.
Yeah.
And I think maybe people like to use karma cycle as an excuse as to why that's happening.
Right. Or an explanation. Like it's basic human nature to want to be able to completely understand something and explain something 100%. So when they see, you know, people having like, you know, we have friends that are the best, nicest people. And it's just, yeah, they keep getting hit with shit situation after shit situation.
Are you talking about Joy?
Well,
because she is like the best person.
Literally the most wholesome, pure person. And she just keeps getting shit thrown at her 20. Like she cannot catch a break. And so like, I mean, she'll
be picking up dog shit, look over, and her dog Jeter is shitting again.
Right, exactly.
That's just a metaphor for her goddamn life.
Yeah. So like, obviously I'm not speaking on what she believes, but like if I were to believe in karma and try and explain, I'd be like, in my head, I'd be like, well, this isn't fair. Like the world, I don't understand what's going on. And in my head, I could be like, oh, karma explains this. Maybe in a past life she did something, or like.
And like it's up to her to break the cycle now.
Exactly.
So that when she comes back again, she has a better life.
Yeah. So like that's what I get why people do it, because everyone needs an explanation. Like that is basic human biology, nature, brain. Like we absolutely have to have explanations to things because we don't like having no answers. It freaks us out.
Yeah.
And so like I get why people feed into it, but yeah, and this is the first time, this is why I was I had never met this friend before. I can't even remember her name. That's so bad.
They came over last night? Lucy.
Okay. So I just met Lucy for the first time last night, and I immediately, I was like texting my girlfriend. I was like, this is my new best friend. I'm going to force her to be friends with me because
Joy, you and I can just go hang out by ourselves.
Well.
Sorry for introducing her to new friends. I now know how you feel.
Because this was the first time I'd encountered someone that was talking to me about what I believe happens with our souls and after we die and stuff. And she was describing it exactly the way that I believe it. And like,
that's awesome.
Oh my God. I was just like, a connection. Like I'd never heard anyone else believe this before. But yeah. Okay. So the whole premise of what I believe, she did believe in a little bit of a karmic cycle in there.
Yeah.
So
and soul contracts. Remember?
And soul contracts. Yeah. So I do believe in soul contracts. I just don't, the karma thing, she was like a little iffy on it. So I think that's the only thing we like slightly disagree on. But yeah, the whole premise of this is like, you know, you have your soul, and when you die, you're met by your spirit guide, whoever that spirit guide may be, and they ask you as your soul when you die, do you want to go back and try again? Do you want to go back to contribute? Do you want to go back to learn a lesson? Do you want to go back to experience something?
So this is something that like my brain wasn't comprehending until like the end. I had to come to it on my own realization. When you're in your earth body, you don't remember anything. But when you go back to just being a spirit, you do remember all the lives you've lived and all the lessons you've learned.
Yeah. And they say that even though you can't remember your past lives, because you're supposed to like, have a blank slate and start over, you still hold on to, I mean, this is what I believe, you still hold on to the lessons you've learned in your past lives. So I was telling you this last night. That's why sometimes you get gut feelings about things.
Yeah.
You're like, I have no explanation, but I just know I should not do this.
Yeah.
And it's because you've already learned that lesson in past life, or that's why you're drawn to certain people because you had such a strong connection to them in the past life, or because you're supposed to help them with something. Like that's your task, you know? And so, you know, this, I've always like really, as soon as I read this theory, which was back, I want to say in college actually, because, you know, it was in one of my religion courses, we had to like, I don't know. I was reading some article on JSTOR or something about this theory, and it just clicked with me, and I was like, oh, I like that one. I never was able in my head to like still fully believe in it until I watched this documentary, because I was like, you know, this makes me feel nice, but in the back of my head, I was like gaslighting myself.
As we do.
Yeah, I was like, this is a nice theory and I love it, but like I could just love it because it helps me explain something.
Yeah.
But then I watched this whole documentary series. It is wild about reincarnated people who remember their past lives because they're children.
Why is it that only children do?
I don't know. And I was trying to remember this last night when I was talking to Lucy, but there's something about these kids who they have been studied. It has been proven, like they are able to prove that they remember full-heartedly their past lives. But then when their brain fully develops into the next stage as a child, it gets wiped and they forget it. So it's something about the way, like maybe the brain doesn't want to hold on to the trauma. Maybe the brain doesn't have that capacity to hold on to that much information. Like, I can't remember what the explanation is, but do you want me to tell the...
Yes, please.
Okay. Which one do you want? Do you want the Hollywood one or the World War II one?
The World War II.
Okay. So in this documentary, we were also trying to remember this last night. I can't remember where the professor or the doctor or scientist was from. He was from some Ivy League.
Okay.
Where basically he started hearing these stories of these children that when they were like 3-ish, they could actually finally talk and form cohesive sentences. They would start telling their parents about how they remembered how they died in their past lives.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids come from agnostic families that don't believe in anything. They believe this life is just this life and there's nothing more than that.
It's atheist. Agnostic believes in a higher power.
Oh, atheist then. Yes.
Yeah.
Some of these came from super Christian families where the parents would discourage it. So it's not like the parents were like
egging it on.
Yeah.
Reading
like
their children stories when they were younger.
Right.
Okay.
And so he would go around when he would get wind that there was another kid like this. He would go around and study them. And he went to this one kid. He was 3 or 4 years old, and he only found out about this kid because the parents had to take him to a psychologist and a psychiatrist because he was having such bad night terrors. He was so obsessed. They literally thought he had OCD.
I had night terrors as a child. Do you think it was because of my past life?
I have a whole theory. We could do a whole podcast on night terrors.
Okay. Well, I finish this and then we'll go into that.
Okay. But yeah, so he couldn't sleep at night. He wasn't eating. He was getting very like agitated and angry. And he used to be this like very sweet child. But then like he became very obsessed. He wouldn't let these thoughts go. And he just kept screaming at his parents all the time. He was like, I'm a pilot. I need to find my plane. He was very obsessed with like airplane toys, model airplanes, airplane books, airplane movies, but only like old World War II model airplanes. And he kept trying to like tell his parents, like he was desperate. He was like, I have to find my wife. I have to tell my army buddy that like his plane's going down. Like he could not let these thoughts go. It was consuming his life and it was turning him into like a mentally unwell child. And so they had
so sad.
Right. And so they had to take him to a therapist. And then that's how it got circulated out. And that's how this scientist found him. And they did a whole documentary episode on him. And basically the scientist came to the house along with a therapist and like, all this kind of stuff. And he was like, explain to me what's happening. And like just sat and talked with the kid. And the kid was like, my name is, I can't remember specifics, but he was like, my name is Duncan West. I grew up in Minnesota. I got shipped off to like Nagasaki in July. The model of my plane is this. And like, he was just like, okay. And he believes the best thing you can do for these children is like hear their stories, validate them, and then take them to wherever their trauma is sitting. So his trauma was sitting outside of Japan, like in the ocean outside of Japan, because that's where like he kept claiming his plane went down. So they flew this 3-4-year-old out to Japan, and they basically, when he's in the airplane and they're about to land, he was like, oh, I recognize this. He was able to tell them where certain streets were, where certain beaches were. And again, his parents, I either want to say they were atheist or Christian, like they were not encouraging this. This was freaking them out.
Yeah.
They just wanted him to be like happy, And so it's not like a lot of people say like the parents must be feeding them information because they want to get famous. They want to get on a talk show. But like his parents were actively not encouraging this.
Okay.
And so they were like, and a lot of times the scientists too, there's another story with a kid that was an old Hollywood actor where they don't inform the parents of certain things they're doing to make sure the parents aren't feeding them information.
Smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was able to tell them the name of his like aircraft carrier boat that he was on, the name of some of his war buddies. And then they took him to the World War II Memorial Museum, either in the US or in Japan. I can't remember which one. And he was able to point out his exact plane and the exact coordinates where his plane went down, which was not public information. Because he was like, I don't want to say like a lowly airplane flyer, but like he wasn't someone super important in the army. So like it wasn't like a general went down or
it wasn't like a plane full of all of these humans and
Right. It was just him in the plane and it got shot down. And he was able to tell them the exact time his wing got or his engine got a bullet through it and caught fire. And he was able to tell them the exact last coordinates that he called out over the radio. And they had to find it in like these dusty old records at like in the basement of this like World War II museum. And he could tell them like to this second.
So after they went to Japan, did he feel he just like forgot everything after that?
It took like a year. He was still like obsessed with it for like a year, but he felt a lot calmer. He felt heard, and he was able to find his wife. So and I didn't see that part. That's the part Lucy was telling us last night. Because there are several documentaries on these types of children, right?
Yeah.
So I must have watched a different one than she watched. And she was saying last night that they called his wife, who at this time that he was born was like 85, 90 years old. And they were like, the scientists and the mom were on the phone with the wife of his past life. And they were like, we know this sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Please don't hang up on us. But we think your husband was reincarnated as my toddler. And they met, and he was able to tell her the exact nickname that they used to call each other. He would recall facts with her that there's no way anyone would know this unless it was her husband. So she got like the closure she needed, which may have been his purpose.
Yeah.
And then he was able to feel a lot more calm about what was going on. And then I think they said when he was like 5 or 6, he lost interest in planes and then just completely stopped talking about it and then had no memory of it after that.
That is so weird.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the shit that makes me believe in it, where I'm like, like, how can you say that's not?
Yeah, that's so bizarre.
And there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of these stories. You can look them up online. You can see the records. Like, these kids know shit that it is not public record, and there's no way they could have known it.
That is so, yeah. I mean, obviously, like, anyone could be like, oh, it was all a hoax or whatever. But like, I don't know. Why not just believe it?
Yeah, or just let them have it.
Yeah, just let them have it.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about night terrors, but before we do, let's check to see if we have a sponsor for today. Sponsor! This episode is brought to you by ZocDoc. It seems when we have something wrong with us physically, we go to everybody but an actual doctor. We text our friends' group chats or go down a TikTok rabbit hole that just gives us more questions than answers from these so-called experts. Well, when you find a quality doctor, you know it, and there's no better feeling. You feel heard and at ease. On ZocDoc, finding the doctor that's right for you is seamless. The quality care you need is just a few taps away in the ZocDoc app. On ZocDoc, you'll find quality doctors who focus on you, listen to you, and prioritize your care. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. No more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have a trusted guide to connect you with your favorite doctors that you haven't met yet. Millions of people use ZocDoc's free app to find and book doctor's appointment in their neighborhood who is patient-reviewed and fits their needs and schedule just right. Go to ZocDoc.com/Rachel and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/Rachel. ZocDoc.com/Rachel. Okay, what is your theory on night terrors? Because I used to get really bad night terrors as a kid.
Okay, and like, what were yours like?
I would never remember them.
Oh.
So when I was a child, I would like wake up in my parents' bed and I'd be like, what's happening? Where am I? And my mom would be like, you had a night terror last night. And my sister would tell me, like, I would get out of bed, I would sleepwalk, I'd scream, I would talk in my sleep, I would punch walls, I'd run around in circles, and my sister would be like, Rachel, because we shared a room. And she was so caring at the time. Rachel! And I look at her wide-eyed and I go, what? And she'd be like, stop it! And I'd be like, no! And I'd go back to just like screaming in circles or punching the wall or whatever. And my parents, which they couldn't wake me up. The only thing that could wake me up was they'd put me on the toilet and tell me to go tinkle. And then when I started peeing is when I would wake up. And then they would take me to bed. And like my mom would just like cuddle me as I slept the rest of the night. And then I'd wake up feeling exhausted and confused.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't remember it. And then my last one I had, I remembered it. And once I remembered it, it never happened again.
Oh.
But I would sleepwalk and scream and talk. And it was only when I was having night terrors, though. It wasn't like a normal day of just like casually like, Rachel, what are you doing outside? Just sleepwalking. Okay, here we go. It was never calm. It was always just like
violent
and scary.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, whenever I have really bad dreams, like night terrors, I become lucid in them, and I wake myself up.
No.
And I'm like, okay, you're in a night terror. You need to wake up, scream.
Yeah.
And so I scream to wake myself up. And then now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, don't scream. Abby's sleeping. Open your eyes.
Okay.
And I just open my eyes and I go, and then I'm awake.
I just saw something I recently, and I don't like being on it. And I meant to talk to Lucy about this last night because she was saying that I should go see one of these past life regression hypnotists. And I think we've talked about this before. I very strongly believe the more you open up yourself, like your soul and your brain to those kind of experiences, the more you're inviting stuff in.
Yes, which is why I say, no, thank you.
No, please stop.
You do it, I'll do me.
Yeah, there's like a
maybe see you later.
ass ghost standing in your corner and you're like, no.
Yeah, I've been told that that's what you tell ghosts. You go, no, thank you.
Politely like that.
Well, I'm not going to be rude.
The door's right over there, buddy.
Like, please, that way.
Oh my God. I could literally, like, there's just someone, right? Like a full apparition. What's it called? Vision. I don't know what it's called. Of like a creepy man in the corner, and you're just like gaslighting him. You're like, you're not fucking real.
You're like, you're not allowed to be here. I don't know why you think you can be. I have said no. I was polite. You're annoying.
Now you need to leave.
Now it's time to go.
Yeah, I recently got onto Dream Talk, so Dream TikTok. I don't like being there. I've clicked not interested several times because I don't want to open myself up to that.
It is scary.
So, of course, we're going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Because if I had to watch it, you have to listen to it.
What?
So, the one I just saw, and I think we talked about this with Joy because Joy said she did it recently, where, like, there's this whole theory you're not supposed to ask your dream people, your dream world,
what the date is.
What the date is or what the time is.
Yeah.
Because in this theory, because someone, like, posted their story about how, like, they asked someone in their dream what time it was, and, like, someone in their dream grabbed their hand and was like, oh, haha, she's being silly, and then, like, ran her out of the room when everyone was staring at her, and she was like, you need to wake yourself up right now. Like, don't do that shit. And, like, whatever. And then there's someone in the comments being like, everyone talks about that you're not supposed to do this, but, like, no one talks about why.
Yeah.
Like, and this girl went into this whole explanation, and, like, I kind of feed into it, where when you're in a dream world, you're basically in you have taken your conscience and you've put it into, like, an alternative dimension that is accessible by multiple beings. So that
is scary. I do not like that statement.
Right? So they're saying that's why, like, but you're meant to blend in. Because if your dream people, who could be angels, could be demons, could be other spirits from other worlds, like, whatever you believe in, if they realize that you are a human conscience and you're in their accessible dimension, they're going to do everything they can to access your physical form. So, like, if there's a bad person in your dream, or like a bad spirit or a bad being in your dream, and they find out you have a physical form in the real world, they might attach to you and come back with you when you wake up.
I hate everything you have just said, and I don't want it, and I'm sorry to everybody that's listening. This is why I don't mess with this shit. This is why I say fuck off as kindly as humanly possible and spiritually as possible, because fuck that shit. As someone who has night terrors and lucid dreams, go to hell.
Well, and she said that she had a good not solution, but, like, I don't know what it's called, but she basically said if you realize you're lucid dreaming and you're scared, like, you want to get it, because some people love lucid dreaming. Like, they make them.
Nope, I'm scared to death.
Well, like, my mom can, like, make herself fly. She can, like, have conversations with people that have passed on. Like, my mom loves her lucid dreams that she can control because she can, like, fulfill fantasies or fulfill.
Mine only happen when I'm having a night terror, and I'm
like that.
Okay, this isn't real. You are dreaming. Wake yourself up.
Yeah,
like, that's the only time it happens, is when, like, I guess the logical part of my brain takes over because I'm so scared.
Right.
That it's like, this is not even possible, so you need to wake up now.
Right. Well, she said, so if you are having a lucid dream where you don't want to be there, like you, she said, harm yourself in some way in the lucid dream and it'll wake you up immediately. So she was like, when I realize I'm in a lucid dream and I've made a mistake and eyes are starting to turn on me and, like, people are realizing that I'm a human there, she goes, I'll pretend I'm getting attacked by a tiger. Like, I'll literally say in my dream, I'm getting attacked by a tiger. And then she'll see the tiger, like, running up to her, and then she'll, like, wake up. Because, like, you know, there's that whole theory that like you're not supposed to die in your dreams and like your brain will wake you up before you die in your dreams or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's like, do something like that. Like make something so absurd in your dream that puts you in danger, and then your body will wake you up because it knows you can't be there.
All right. Okay.
So what's more scary, being in a lucid dream or creating an attacked tiger?
Being in a lucid dream is more scary.
Yeah. So, okay, I used to have night terrors as a child. And also, like, just as a disclaimer, I don't think PTSD, nightmares, and night terrors are the same thing.
Okay.
I just don't want someone getting mad because I fully recognize if you have PTSD or like some sort of trauma, you can have like recurring nightmares about that.
Yes.
I think those nightmares and like random night terrors that don't have to do with something traumatizing that happened to you, like are two different things that your brain is processing. You know, just to put that out there.
All right.
But I used to have night terrors as a kid, very detailed. I didn't know I was dreaming though. That was the thing. I didn't know I was dreaming, but I can still, as a 30-year-old woman, remember the night terrors I had when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And my parents couldn't figure out how to fix this. I wasn't allowed to watch anything scary. They stopped my eating 2 hours before bed because, you know, like sometimes what you eat will give you nightmares. Like they kept the house really cold because
they cut you off from alcohol.
Yeah, you know, at 5 years old.
Yeah.
And so they did everything they could. And it was getting so bad that I would like sob before I went to bed at night. And I was like, I don't want to sleep because I knew it was going to happen.
I've had that.
Yeah. And I was terrified, scared, you know? And so my parents were just like talking to, I can't remember who my mom was talking to, but someone suggested, or no, they said, because she was like, you know, Emily's having a lot of trouble with night terrors. And they go, what does her room look like? And they were just like, my bad. My mom was like,
Em still has a cough. She's been sick for 5 years now.
Yeah. So my mom was like, well, her bed's here and her dresser's here and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, what's on her wall across from her bed? My mom was like, oh, this like big antique mirror that like belonged to my grandmother. And the woman was like, well, there's your problem. And she started talking about this theory that you can't have anything reflective at the end of your bed.
Oh, so my TV?
Because there is a theory. Oh my God.
We're going to check to see if we have another sponsor for today while Emily hacks up along. Pros is our sponsor for this episode. You've probably heard me sing the praise of Pros before. The most personalized hair care products. Pros can help your hair become shinier, smoother, softer, stronger, whatever you need, because each bottle is designed specifically for you. Pros knows there's more than just your hair type. Pros has given over 1 million consultations with their in-depth hair quiz, which is how I got started. I've let them know how frizzy my hair has gotten with age and since I moved, what type of hair I have, what kind of diet I have, how much exercise I do, and by analyzing over 85 personal factors, Pros handpicks clean ingredients that get you closer to your hair goals with every wash. My favorite feature of Pros is Review and Refine tool, which lets me tweak my formulas for any reason, in case I change my address, my hair color, or even my diet, which is great because my life is constantly changing. As a carbon neutral certified B Corp, Pros is an industry leader in clean and responsible beauty. All their ingredients are sustainably sourced, ethically gathered, and cruelty-free. They're also the first custom beauty brand to go carbon neutral, which is amazing for our environment. If you're not 100% positive Pros is the best hair care you've had, they will take the product back, no questions asked. Pros is the healthy hair regimen with your name all over it. Take your free in-depth consultation and get 15% off your first order today. Go to pros.com/RU. That's PROSE.com/RU for your free in-depth hair consultation and 15% off.
Okay.
You feel better?
Yes. Yeah.
Then we're back. Continue about the reflection.
So there's this whole theory that doorways, like you're not supposed to sleep with an open doorway. So like if it leads to like a big hall or something, like if you were to sleep with your door open that leads to your hallway.
Disgusting.
My girlfriend does it. It is psychotic.
I used to do it back in my old house. I had a really long, I remember how I had the hallway and then the door and then another hallway.
Yes.
So sometimes when Blaze would sleep in my room with me, I would leave the door open. But the hallway was so long you couldn't see the door from the bed. Yeah. Which, like, so you couldn't really see if the door was, open or closed. I don't like penises. Not in this household. No penis licking. Thank you. I got a really bad ringing in my ears all of a sudden. Oh, that wasn't fun.
No,
okay.
that's
right.
never fun.
And we're back.
Yep.
But I never really liked it. But here Abby and I keep that door closed.
Yeah.
We also close the bathroom door and start closing the closet door.
Yeah. So they say I mean, it's a theory, but they say, the people that believe in this say that if your door leads to like an open space, like a big hallway or like another big room, you're fine. Leave it open, whatever. But if you have a door that leads to like a small closet.
So ours.
Your closet is the size of my entire apartment.
Okay.
I think you're fine.
It's not a big open space.
I would say if your closet was like a third of that space, then maybe you should be concerned. But they say open doors and reflections that can see you sleep, like directly across from you. Basically, when you're sleeping, can like your subconscious, I don't know, something can create a portal which allows things to come in. So if you like, I don't know, I feel like I'm describing this very poorly, but a lot of people believe that mirrors and tiny doorways lead to other dimensions. And so this lady was,
why?
I'm not sure.
I need to know the thought process behind that.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to willy-nilly believe that shit.
Oh, no. I'll look into it more and I'll tell you. I'll get back. But this lady was basically telling my mom, she was like, when your daughter falls asleep and this mirror is basically a perfect view of watching her sleep, it's allowing these bad elements to come in. And that's what's giving her night terrors, is like basically these, I don't want to say like beings, but like these bad intentions are like flooding into your body. So like, did you have a mirror across from your bed?
I can't remember.
Because as soon as my mom moved that mirror, because my mom was like desperate to try anything at this point, right? My mom, she like believes in spirits and souls and like universal connections, but she's not like religious in any sense. But she was so desperate at that point. She was like, okay. And so she took down the mirror and I slept through the night that night with no problem.
Huh.
And didn't tell me. It's not like she was like, I'm taking down this mirror and you'll sleep better. Like she was just like, I'm going to move this.
I remember us having a mirror in our bedroom as kids. I was on the bottom bunk.
There's your first problem. No. You always take the top bunk.
I shared a room with my sister. She was always going to have the top bunk.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can't remember. Our mirror was either on the back of the door. Okay, well, see, the thing is, I slept in the bunk bed. You're like I was catty-cornered into a wall.
Okay.
So my feet were in a corner.
Okay.
So I was looking at a wall.
But like, would you sleep on your side and look at the mirror? Or like,
I don't remember where the mirror was.
Oh, okay.
I do remember it only happened at my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't vacation that much. But there was one time I was in Idaho and we were sleeping at a friend's house, my parents' friend's house, in a basement. And I slept walk up 2 flights of stairs and crawled into these people's bed in between them. And they were like, what the fuck? Oh, this is Rachel.
Right.
Like, they had just met me. And they're like,
oh,
who is this? But I wasn't having night terror. It was the only time I ever slept walk without it being a night terror.
Okay.
And I was in their basement with my whole family and
yeah.
just moseyed up. I had no idea which room was theirs. I hadn't gone upstairs. Like, because they had the basement, the first floor, and then the second floor.
Okay.
And I hadn't been to the second floor, but I found the second floor and crawled into their bed.
That's weird.
It is really weird, but I don't remember their basement either, but I didn't have a night terror. That's the only time I slept walk without a night terror.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I think growing up, our mirror was on the back of our door.
Okay.
Or to the right of the piano, and the piano was directly across from our bed. We rearranged our rooms all the time as kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think, to me personally, I think night terrors means that like something either about like, I mean, like it's basic feng shui. Like, I think something about the setup of your room is off. I think there's like, I don't know, maybe you're sleeping with a mirror at the end of the bed. Like, I don't know. I just believe night terrors mean that otherworldly things are trying to make their way in. And that's why your body's resisting it so much. But I'm sure there's a sign.
That's fucked up. I was just a kid.
Oh, I know. But it's because they're like really susceptible. That's why
I was really gullible.
That's why kids see ghosts more often than adults do. Or like a lot of...
So we don't fight that shit because we're still learning.
Oh, yeah. And your brain is so open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like that's why you hear so many stories of kids being like, oh, who's that in the corner? Or like so many stories of kids talking about people coming to visit them. And a lot of people just chalk it up to like children having very imaginative
imagination.
Yeah. Imagination.
much. Sorry, go.
But like people who are psychics or believe in ghosts and paranormal stuff, like we believe it's because their brain hasn't been like tainted yet, and that they're so open and susceptible, and they don't realize that this is something scary or something that they should not acknowledge.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that's why a lot of children get night terrors, is because these bad entities are like, oh, that's easy, you know?
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some like person in the comments being like, actually, night terrors are an overload of estrogen in your brain. You know, I'm sure there's some like perfectly good scientific explanation, but
it's scary.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, so we have a TV at the...
I've never had I have a TV at the end of mine too. I've never had a problem with that. It's only the mirrors.
What about when you stay in the guest room and there's a wall of mirrors next to you?
I sleep facing the window. I do that on purpose.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I get really weird about it. Like my girlfriend has a mirror in her room, and I sleep on the opposite side of the bed to it, and I always sleep, well, I try to sleep facing away from it, because it really does freak me out. I'm sure at this point
it's just mental, like it's just in your head.
Yeah, but I don't know, it still weirds me out.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, you have about like 5 or 10 more minutes if you want to say anything else.
Oh my God, I don't even know. What do you want to hear?
I don't know. I just I'm just letting you be you. This microphone doesn't I give you the good stand.
You did.
I always do.
Yeah.
My back hurts.
I'm so sorry. Anyway,
do you have you noticed a theme of personalities of people who have night terrors?
More imaginative.
Okay.
I always like, because I had them as a kid. You had them as a kid. One of my nephews had them for a little bit, and it's always the kids that are like more spirited, like hyper ADHD. Yeah. And I'm wondering if it's because our like energy levels are like, our literal spiritual energy levels are just on like a higher frequency maybe.
Yeah.
And so like maybe we're like inviting more stuff in. I don't know.
Well then, because the people I've known who've had sleep paralysis.
Oh, that's a whole different,
That's a whole nother realm of scary. And I think we've talked about that before on this channel. But they've always been a calmer person.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my, I've never put that, because I've never had sleep paralysis.
See, I'm facts, figures, logical.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and find a pattern.
Yeah.
So like you and I had night terrors. We both have very similar everythings.
Yeah.
And then, the people I've known who have had sleep paralysis have always been like a calmer entity. Joy has had sleep paralysis, but...
and I think I'm sure she can tell us in the comments, Joy, if we're wrong.
But I text us being like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah, you idiots. If I'm remembering correctly, she only used to have sleep paralysis at her mom's house. So I think sleep paralysis has something to do with something attached to the room you're in.
Because, yes, the people I have known who have had it, it's always at a specific area.
Yeah. It's not like when they travel, they take the sleep paralysis with them. It's something about that room. There's something going on with the energy in the room. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was just, I think we've talked about this too, that summer in that Hawaii house.
Yeah, but like when Abby said, I was in the room with her, and like, why didn't it choose me?
I don't know.
And that's why I'm like, because Summer was in the room with other people, why did it choose Summer?
Oh, was it you and I that were talking about this, or me and Joy, where we were saying it, or maybe it was me and Summer, where sleep paralysis typically happens to the people we know after something traumatic has happened to them.
That is true.
So it's like they're more susceptible. So like maybe Abby was going through like...
She was.
Okay, so there you go. She was going through something.
Yeah, she was.
And so that's what I'm saying. These entities, like these evil just beings, know when someone is an easy target.
So I have to be strong.
Yeah.
In my sleep, in my day-to-day, in my spiritual world. God, this is fucking
but
exhausting.
But also don't acknowledge it.
No wonder this is the Harvard of spirit worlds.
Right?
I can't.
It's so, I mean, that's why that girl that I met last night, Lucy, yeah, that we were talking about all the reincarnation stuff, she was recommending that book to me because there's a whole, like, the woman that created the past life regression hypnosis wrote a whole book. Like, she has like 13 books that she's published on basically like her experiences, the people, whatever. And she was like, you have to read this. And I was so excited. I mean, I was like, what's the name of the book? I need to read it. I'm going to order it. And the more I thought about it, I was like, do I really like want to send myself into an existential crisis? Like, is my brain really ready to like receive more?
Does it help you with your current life? Like, what's the point of it?
Yeah. Because
well, maybe you need that.
I think I have done medication, I've done meditation, I've done therapy. At this point,
Why not?
past life regression. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm open to things. But again, with that, I'm like, I don't really think I need to know my past lives.
Yeah.
I think I'm chilling.
I wasn't open to it because she was basically talking about how she saw how she died. She experienced it again. Like, she was talking about wild stuff.
Yeah.
And
I don't feel like I need that.
well, in my head, I was like, wouldn't I just be re-traumatizing myself? And she was like, no, it was so peaceful. Because she was like, you know, it's already happened. You don't feel the pain of it. You don't feel the fear of it. You're just watching it happen. And it helps you process and understand it. Because once you die, it's really hard to go back and process something. But if you can like sit and watch it, she was like, it helps you process.
Process what?
I think the trauma of the death and like leaving that journey and starting a new one.
So do you feel better when you come out of it?
Yeah.
Your past life.
Because I think what she was
Very
saying.
confusing to me.
Right. I obviously haven't read the book, and we only talked for like 4 hours about this last night. But I think what the idea I was getting is a lot of your anxiety, a lot of your physical ailments, a lot of just what's happening to your body here and now is a result of your brain and your spirit holding on to past traumas.
Okay.
And so maybe this can like help you process that, or maybe this can help you get a new perspective. Maybe it helps you like reconnect, or like, I don't know. Cause I feel like when you die suddenly and like unexpectedly, you don't get a chance to process and say goodbye. So like maybe this is a way she could have gone back and said goodbye to her.
I feel like I need you to do this so that I can ask you more questions.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because I'll pick your brain.
I know. And you get a whole recording of it, she said. When you do this, they record it and then give you the recording so you know that they weren't suggesting you or leading you and like, or doing anything like malice, And so I would love to do this and then post the recording or, whatever.
I would love for you to do that.
I wonder how expensive it is.
I don't know. What's her name? Zara. I went to a dinner party at Zara's and her friend was there who does those.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just have to make sure like I'm mentally ready for it because I feel like that's a lot to take on. So either I feel like I would do it and feel so much better and it would explain so much and help me heal so much.
Or it would make you worse.
Or it'd make me worse and it'd send me into an existential crisis.
I can't deal with that.
I know. So I have to figure out which one it's going to be before I do it.
That, it would, oh God, I'd just be exhausted. For my sake. Like, I want you to do it so I could pick your brain, but at the same time, I'm scared. For me.
I know. What if I was a terrible person in a past life?
Then maybe you'd wake up and be like, well, shit, I got to make up for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do better.
Do better. I mean, I just always say do better no matter what.
Yeah.
Wake up and try to be the best version of yourself every day.
That's exhausting.
It is. You got to take a day or two off and just be, neutral and plateau.
Right.
But then you got to keep at it again. But all right.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it for today.
Oh my God. Thank you for letting me ramble.
You're welcome.
This is my favorite subject to talk about.
I know it is. And it's one I don't know a lot about, but I love learning and I like being open to it. But except the dream shit.
Sorry.
You can fucking keep that to yourself. God damn. If you guys want to continue the conversation below, please do in the comments of the YouTubes. If you guys have if you have conspiracies or theories, please send them Emily's way.
Oh yeah, I will research the shit out of them.
And then maybe if they send you enough,
oh yeah,
we can do an update version of this or just like introduce new theories. If you think this is all bullcocky, what does that word mean?
Bullcocky? I've never heard that.
Okay. I'm gonna look it up real quick because I heard that's a phrase hold on.
I thought you were gonna say bullshit.
Bullcocky. I'm realizing another expression that means the same thing as bullshit. Okay. I realize I use a lot of words I don't know what they are.
Same.
So
onomatopoeia.
You use that daily. Anyway, if you think this is all bullcocky, just learn about it though. Still, there's no harm in learning about it, so that you can maybe understand how other people think.
Yeah.
So it's okay to learn about it.
Yeah, just like I learn about all religions.
Yeah, I learned about a lot of religions too, and
all cultures.
Yes. Yeah. Well, cultures can't be. Never mind. Wrong.
Oh, right. I just mean like even if you don't do the same things as a different culture.
Oh, yes.
It's nice to experience and learn.
Yes. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or follow. And yeah, have a great day. Hit up Emily's Insta DMs.
DMs. There you go.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
At Emily Is it Brostaff?
Emily Brostaff, yeah.
Okay. Or comment it below. All right. I love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!
Thank you for listening to this episode of Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet where you can find the uncensored version of me, Rachel Ballinger. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, or follow, or do whatever this platform tells you to do so that you can get notified every time I post a new episode. Love ya!